Hey y'all, welcome back to the channels, part 22 of my Farming Simulator playthrough. Got Gordon in here this time. Gordon, please turn off your mic.
I'm turning on.
I got Gordon in here this time. We're going to try to pick up where we left off and see what we can do as far as our farm and trying to get out of this $475,000 hole that we owe the bank. If y'all got any tips or tricks, y'all drop them down in the chat. Drop them down in the comments depending on when you're watching this. And without no further ado, let's get into it. We had sold them cows, didn't we?
to give in there are plenty. So lend your fellow man a helping hand. Walk along. Raise your voice and sing a joyful song. You can leave your heavy load by the side of this old road and walk along in the morning. I know that it's been a long way walking. You worry about the miles that lay ahead. Best thing you can do come early morning is choosing hope and happiness instead. Walk along. Raise your voice and sing a joyful song. You can leave your heavy load by the side of this old road and walk along in the morning. Walk along. Raise your voice and sing a joyful song. You can leave your heavy load by the side of this old road and walk along in the morning. Walk along in the morning.
Man, I'm proud of what my fiance is by that, and ended up hitting him, and he ended up. I don't even know I hit him. He kind of started going down at that point. I turned around and ran home, and then everybody called and was like, and I never got charged. Nothing ever happened. But
He survived? I'm assuming.
yeah. I actually talked to him about 3-4 months ago. Yeah, I did. I actually talked to him 3-4 months ago. And the crazy thing is because his sister started dating, but I'm gonna go back to the car stuff. His sister ended up reading my book and asked me, "Is this my brother you talking about that got shot?"
Right.
And she was like, people always said it was you, but I didn't never. And I told her, I was like, yeah, that was me. And but yeah, we cool now. They know I got my life on track, and he have too. So, but
It all worked out.
It all worked out. But when I got out of NTC, man, I got into stealing cars because I couldn't play basketball.
Of course.
I couldn't play
You can't.
basketball.
I can see the coach now. Listen, you're not going to make the team if you considered stealing cars.
I couldn't play basketball, man. I felt when it came to school, that's the only thing that made me interested.
Right.
You know, if I knew we had a game coming up, I was all in. And by the time basketball season was over, my whole track record. When basketball season was over, I went to jail. When basketball season was over, I went to juvie. When basketball season was over, something was wrong every single time. And when I came back, the coach told me I had to sit out. I had to wait a year before I could even play ball.
Why?
Because it was the freshman year had started, and they had already did the trials. They had already had the team.
Oh yeah.
So when I went to him and told him, I was like, hey, I just got out. And he was like, yeah, I heard about you. He was like, but we already done. He was like, you gotta wait here. I'm like, nah, the basketball in my life, like it's really, it's what I love to do. And I ended up getting in trouble because a guy was talking to my kid's mom at the time in the school and we ended up getting into it, and I ran in a classroom where he was, and we got into it real bad, and I ended up getting sent to they call it alternative school.
What does that mean? You got into it real bad. We had the harsh words.
Yeah, well, I got into it with his. Let me take that back. We got into it in the cafeteria.
Okay.
I'm in the cafeteria, and it's circulating that he goes with her. They got something going on, and everybody know I was at the time overprotective of her. And now I'm coming home, everybody wondering, is she going back to him? Is he gonna do something? This is just a bunch of talk going on. So I go in the chow hall. I go in the look, see. So I go in the cafeteria. When I go in the cafeteria, he goes and sits with her.
Right.
All my homeboys kind of looking like. So I initiated. I'm like, bro, like you ain't, and we started getting into it right then and there. And we had a principal at the time. I think his name was. Can't remember his name, but whatever his name was, he ended up grabbing me. He grabbed me and told me that I couldn't do that right there. He was like, man, you gotta chill. He was like, you just came home. You want to play basketball. He running all this stuff down. He take me out. He calmed me down. And he was like, you good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. He was like, well, just stay right here till the bell ring, then go on back to your class. As I'm sitting right here waiting for the bell ring, one of my cousins come out of his classroom, and the guy's brother is walking down the hallway. So I tell my cousin, like, come on, cuz, we're gonna get him. I can't go back in the cafeteria. I can't go back in the cafeteria, so we're gonna get him. So we started walking behind him. When he turned around, I'm guessing I don't know if he knew or what. I don't know if he felt it, but he ended up taking out running in the hallway. As he take out running, we chase him in the hallway. We bust a big U-turn. Then we got these portables outside. He run outside to the portables, I guess is where his class was at. And he runs in the classroom, and I run in right behind him. And when I run in behind him, when I bust through the door, he's already up by the teacher, like telling the teacher, like, they chasing me. And the teacher, like, what's going on? And I walk in, I'm cussing, I'm going off, and she was like, wait a minute. She get on you got a walkie-talkie. She get on the walkie-talkie, calling for the principal, assistant principal, and whoever else. And everybody in the classroom started standing up. And at this point, I'm trying to walk towards him. And he get behind the teacher, and I throw a desk out of the way. And at that point, they ran in and grabbed me, and they sit down with me. And I ended up in alternative school.
Yeah, you can't come back here.
You can't do that. You just can't do that. But I ended up going to alternative school. And while I was in alternative school, I hated it. And one of my best friends, one of my guys.
Because it's supposed to be a wonderful experience. I mean, what did you expect? What did you think was going to happen?
Not that. But when I got there, bro, it was so boring. It was. And me and my homeboy would sit outside on a little bench. But the school back here, we would sit on the bench and we would just sit there and talk. And one day I was just like, man, you wanna go steal some cars? And he was like, man, I will whatever. He was like, how we gonna do it? And I was like, man, in the morning time, people like to start the cars and let them warm up. You know what I'm saying? It's cold, so you can see the exhaust, you can see it coming out. So we walk around till we see a car look like it's warm up. We just get in and take it. And he was like, yeah, I'm with it. He was like, cool. And we used to skip school every morning, just walk around and steal cars. and we would take the cars and we would hide them behind a hotel. Like we had a little car lot back there. We had a little car lot. We had like 6 or 7 cars back there at one point. We used to just park behind the hotel. We would tell all our homeboys, and if we wanted to, we'd be like, "Hey, which one y'all finna get? I'm finna grab the Pontiac. Which one? I'm finna get in the Torso. I'm finna get in." We would just go back there and just drive the cars. we ended up stealing a car. It was a truck. There was a lady who was dropping her. We skipping one day. It was a Mitsubishi gray truck, and this truck was so nice. It had to been whatever the year it was. That's what the truck was. And it looked like she was taking her child in the daycare. And she walked in the house, and my homeboy, he was like, "Man, we gotta get that." And where the truck is, it's a house off to the side. And Casper was there. I'm gonna say his name. We cool to this day. But Casper is looking out his window because he's waiting for the bus to come. We get in the truck and skirt off. They call the police. They offer him reward money. He tell them it was us.
How much?
$500 if I'm correct. I think it was $500.
Not bad.
Not bad. Now at that age, that was the second guy that got $500 off of it. That was the first guy that got $500 off of it. But when we drive off in this car, we keep this truck maybe 2-3 days. 2-3 days. We kept this truck 2-3 days just riding around. Cause my granny at the time lived
How
there.
old are you?
I'm 15 now. I'm 15. I got my daughter at the time right now, as we talking, I'm sure my daughter is probably only like 6 or 7 months old at this point. Yeah, we just joyriding in the car. We riding around and we ended up over my granny house in Hendersonville. I got the car parked behind her building. She don't know. But I didn't know she seen it though. So I'm sitting in here and I hear her on the phone. And then I hear her describing the truck.
I need 500. I want 500 bucks.
Yeah.
You hear this, honey?
It's some great truck. He got
Honey.
got up and I walked in. I said, "Who you?" I said,
You
"Who
listening?
talking to, Granny?" She said, "Your mama on the phone and asked me about that car you driving." I said, "Hey, get off the phone. Get the phone." She was like, "What is going on?" I said, "Give me the phone." I get the phone. I hang it up. She was like, What's going on with the truck?" I was like, "Don't worry about it." So we leave, get in the truck, we ditch the truck, drive back home. When we get there, my homeboy mama done got with my mama. They thinking they gonna take us down to the police department together.
Right.
My mama tell us to come to meet them at my homeboy's granny's house. We get to my homeboy granny's house. His mama saying, "I'm finna take you to the police department." My mama say, "And you going with him?" And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not going to the police department with him. That just ain't gonna happen." She was like, "Yeah, you." And I said, "Okay." So we get in the car. This is my second time. We drive down there. My homeboy get out of the car. I tell my homeboy, "You can't go in there. Don't go in there." And in front of his mama is saying, "He going in there." My mama saying, "You going too?" I said, "I'm not going in there. I'm down here to make sure he don't go in there."
Are you concerned that they're going to give him some Wendy's? And
He got the Wendy's. He got the
Wendy's.
He got something.
You're going to get a photograph? There's a
He got-
photograph coming of him with some
Man,
Wendy's.
He went in. I ran. Again, I ran. I ain't doing no talking. He told him what happened. After that happened, we still in alternative school. We still skipping and still in cars. Even after that happened.
Right. All
we got-
all this is happening while you're in the alternative school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and after that, we still in alternative school. They gave us we got a court date for the car to go to court.
You get arrested?
I got charged. Yeah, he told him everything that happened.
Yeah. But I mean, did the cops come and arrest you?
No, I just had to. Cause I was underage, so I just had to go down. I don't know if my mama had to sign for something, but they just called. I had to go down there. She had to sign. I had a court date because I was a minor.
Okay.
So they ain't have to they ain't put me in cuffs or nothing like that. So after that, we still in cars. It's a guy, and I can say his name because he met with me in Dallas. He ain't from Dallas, no. What's up, Dallas?
That's narrowed down.
What's up, Dallas?
Assuming there's a bunch of Dallas.
But Dallas was the cool white boy in the hood.
Okay.
His parents was doctors. I think a doctor and a lawyer.
What's he doing in the hood?
He wanted to be cool.
Oh,
And he
God.
was cool. And he had an Avalanche. He had the Avalanche truck, burnt orange, 24-inch rims on it at the time. He got the speakers. He got the bang. You know, Dallas was cool. And everybody wanted to drive that truck. I wanted to drive it too. So we walking around one day. We looking for people who getting out at the gas station to run in and pay for their gas and leave their car running.
Okay.
This is what we doing this day. It's a gas station, then it's a Wendy's, and behind the Wendy's is a liquor store. So we sitting, and across the street is a Taco Bell. So we sitting at the Taco Bell where the dumpsters are, we can see over to the gas station. But as we watching the gas station, two girls pull up in Dallas, Avalanche, burn on his truck with the 24s on it at the liquor store. Both of them get out and go into the liquor store. Let me rewind real quick. 2-3 days before this, I got a homeboy that's a gamer. Real, love you, bro. He used to demolish me on the game.
Uh-huh.
And we used to play 21 Skunk on Madden. I beat him one time. You remember this too. And when I beat him, he goes in the back room because he tell me to get out of his house. He tell me I gotta leave. I'm 15 at the time. You gotta go, get out. I was like, man, bro, I just beat you in the game the first time. It was like, you 100 and nothing. You was 101. You still got 100 games on me. Like, he walks to the back room. His dad was a police officer. He comes, his mama has that, I don't know what that plastic stuff was with the little, this right here. What is this? Whatever it is, it's a carpet guard. They had a carpet guard through the hallway, so I can hear the footsteps. Right. And as he turned the corner, he got a 357 bag.
Because you beat him at the game?
True story, man. He got a 357 bag. He pointed the gun at me and told me, get out of my house. I said, well, I'm coming. I mean, you got that?
You pick your friends.
I never play you again. But when I walked out the house, of course I'm mad he pointed the gun at me. I'm like, dang, that was a nice gun. So before we stole the truck, we ended up, because he made me mad. So I went and got my homeboy that I'm with. And you don't know this, Red, but I'm finna tell it now. That this part wasn't in the book. But they used to put lights on. They put their lights on the house. They would snowman, all of those stuff. But before we went in there and got the gun, I took their lights out the house, ripped all the lights out the house and all that old stuff. Messed the house up real bad. All their lights and stuff, they had to replace them. But we ended up breaking in the house, and I went back there and searched it and found that 357, which is the same 357 we used when we took the truck from the girls at the liquor store. They went in the liquor store. Me and my homeboy both looked over.
Listen.
As I'm listening.
Listen. Your buddy has an Avalanche, right? Is that the Avalanche you said? He has a nice, I guess you said it was orange. He has a nice Avalanche with some big rims on it. And this is your buddy. And you see some girls driving his truck.
Yeah.
And you rob, you steal, carjack.
Yeah, no,
You
I don't know.
carjack my buddies. Doesn't mean carjacking Colby's. I see somebody driving Colby's vehicle. There's Colby.
It was nice, Kobe. Kobe had a nice car.
I mean, all you guys are just
No honor amongst thieves.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
I know that.
Snakes.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it, but was comfortable around each other.
Right.
Wouldn't want to be around nobody else. Like this is a sense of norm. But the girls are coming out of the liquor store. We crept over. We ain't got no mask or nothing. So we covered our face with our hands.
Do they know you?
I didn't know the girls.
Okay.
I think he knew one of them. I didn't know the girls.
Right.
And so by the time we pulled the gun, one of the girls make it back into the store. The other friend tried to run in, and the other friend is keeping her from running back in the store. Because I don't know what was going on. But my homeboy was like, where the keys at? And she was like, they already in the truck. So at that point, he jumped in the driver's seat, I jumped in the passenger seat, we pulled off in the truck. And we drive to Nashville, where my granny was working at the Windham Historical Hotel at the time. She don't know we outside in the store.
Right.
Truck. They got valet. So I tell my homeboy, we pull up in the valet, I tell him, look, just park the truck. I'm gonna run in here and get some money from my granny. Cause we ain't got no money. We got no money. We need some gas. We don't know what we're finna do yet, neither. I run in to get some money from my granny. By the time my granny don't know what's going on, by the time I walk back out, he's done wrecked the truck and hit some car that's parked, and the valet done got him out of the truck, took the keys out of the truck, both of the truck doors are open. So I walk over and I'm looking at him, he looking at me, he said, hey, what's going on? He said, man, I couldn't see that little bitty truck. Like the rims, he tried to basically say the rims was sitting up so high he couldn't see the truck.
Okay.
But when he tell me that, I looked and I said, well, what are the keys? He said, man, one of them got the keys, one of the valet guys. So I asked the valet guys, I'm like, this is my truck. I said, I just want to know which one of y'all got my keys. And the guy who got him, he pat on it. He said, I got keys. I said, I don't know if you really got the keys or not. I said, as you can see, this is an expensive truck. These expensive rims. You can hear it's got loud, expensive speakers. I said, I need to see my keys. I need to see. He said, I called Metro. I said, that's fine. You can call Metro. But I want to see which one of y'all got my keys. That's all I want to see. I got keys, sir. And he reached and he dangled the keys. And I ran over and snatched the keys. We ran to the car, got in, and we drove all the way to Atlanta, Georgia.
So you got some money from your grandmother?
Yeah.
Okay.
We took all the money we had, put it in the gas tank, and drove to Atlanta, Georgia from Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
We get to Atlanta, Georgia.
It's a long drive.
Yeah, I think 4 hours.
Yeah.
We almost out of gas.
Yeah.
Only thing we got is a 357 and a bag of green girl's head that he been smoking on the whole way there. So when we get there, we ride past this club. I never it was called Indigo. It was a teen club. Because when we got there, he was like, man, because they had pipes on the truck. And he was like, man, put it in neutral and let the pipes holler. So we put it in neutral and everybody got around the truck and was bouncing. And we thought we was having. We had 24s. We had 24s on the truck. We was 15. My dad was 16 years old. We was having a ball. so by that time we go to this gas station. We almost at the gas. Son getting ready to come up and he was like, what we gonna do? I said, man, we gonna have to start robbing people. He was like, well, how we gonna do that? I said, with this big old truck, I said, man, we're going to pull over in front of cars, block them out, and get out and rob them on the spot. He was like, that's what's up. I said, well, cool then. That's what we're going to do. True story.
Yeah, nobody will be able to, but nobody will be able to track this truck down.
Nobody will be able to. We ain't
bright orange with 24s on it.
Yeah, we ain't all the way in another state. With a police officer done doing this. We got to think it's it. So, the first guy, it looked like he was dropping his girl off to Kroger's, I guess to work.
Right.
We coming down this hill, and I see him getting ready to come back out, and my homeboy going first. So he get the gun out of him. I said, man, he gonna cover his, he gonna cover his face with his hand. I pull over in front of the car, block it off. The guy just sitting there, he lays on the horn, brr, brr, and as he blowing, he don't know what's going on. So where I'm in front of him is the driver's side. So when he get out, he coming around, he laying on the horn. So by the time he see my homeboy up the gun, all I see from the truck is his hands go up in the air like this. And when his hands went up, my homeboy opened the door. And I could hear him say, I don't have nothing, man, I ain't got nothing. He was like, you ain't gotta do this. So at this point, my homeboy telling him, he reach in his pocket.
Everybody needs a good pair of jeans. What I like about the Perfect Jean is that the moment you put them on, they feel like sweatpants. They don't ever pinch or bind up. As a matter of fact, they're super stretchy. There's never any point where you feel like they're binding up on you or they're tight or they pinch you or anything like that. They're comfortable in pretty much any position that you sit in. They're really great, they're comfortable, and they look great. Normally, a good pair of jeans costs anywhere between $150 to $200, but the Perfect Jeans are reasonably priced at $79.99. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectjean.nyc or Google The Perfect Jean and use promo code COX15 for 15% off. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with promo code COX15. Please support our channel and tell them we sent you. Your khakis. Get the perfect jeans.
And I see a wallet fly out. When the wallet fly out, my homeboy grabbed the wallet. He literally probably only had $10, $15. It wasn't too much or nothing. We couldn't do nothing with that. So by the time my homeboy come back to the truck, and I hate to even say this, but I'm being honest, it was the fear intrigued me when I seen him with the gun. Right. How the guy responded.
Right.
So when he give me the money and show me it's only $10, $15, I'm like, nah, he got something else. But really, it was I wanted to point the gun at him too. So I take the gun. Just being honest. So I take the gun. I go back and I point the gun at him, and he was like, "Man, you ain't gotta do this. That's all I got. This, and that." And I had my little moment. We got in the truck. We pulled off, and he started pulling out slow. And I told my homeboy, I said, "He got something." And I turned around. As soon as I turned the truck around, he stopped. His hands went up. Well, he stopped, opened his door, and threw the wallet back out again before we even got to him. And so that was the first robbery. We leave there. We drive around town a little bit. We coming down this road. It's a truck beside us. And I told it's my turn now. I told my homeboy, I'm like, when the light get ready to turn, he had his blink on to turn right. I said, turn in front of him. We don't stop. I'm gonna get out. And then I got out. He probably only had like $40. We did this like 2-3 times. We had enough to get a little food and put some gas. So we called ourselves driving all the way on the other side of town. That's if probably 4 or 5 people at the time ain't calling out them.
Yeah, just say, nobody will put us together.
Yeah.
Just get across town.
Yeah. We drive all the way across town, and we're in a neighborhood. Houses were nice. The cars were luxury. We thinking, okay, this was the money. And it's my homeboy time, so I'm driving. We get to a 4-way. It was a BMW. It's got that, I think they call it mirror tint, where whatever it is. But we're in a 4-way, and she's on the phone, and she flashing for us to go ahead and go, cause we got the blinker to turn left. Cause I'm gonna turn, and I'm gonna stop right in front of her. He gonna get out, right? So I turn, and when I turn and hit that left, I hit on the brakes. He jumps out. By the time he jumped out and she see the gun, I hear her scream, and her hands went up. And I'm guessing when her hands went up, she hit the car, the gear shift, and put it in reverse. Mm-hmm. So when the car go in reverse, if you ain't steering the wheel in reverse, it's gonna turn. So she hit it, and the car started backing up, and my homeboy is running beside the car with the gun to the window. She goes down in this ditch, and all I hear is boom. It ain't a gunshot, it sounded like a grape. Like she hit a tree. My homeboy runs back up the hill, and comes to the car. He was like, "Man, she crazy. She got out running." I said, "Did she have a purse in her hand?" He's like, "Nah, she ain't had nothing." I said, "Go back and get the purse." Right. So he ran back, got the purse, got in the truck. We pulled out. She had like $1,200, $1,300 in there. Whoa. Yeah. She had like $1,300. Like $1,200, $1,300. We went to the mall. Then you gotta keep in mind, we ain't had a shower. Right. We got no license. I mean, I'm 15, 16. We don't know nothing about Atlanta, Georgia. What they call the Underground Mall at the time. We're at the Underground Mall. My homeboy, he had real long hair at the time, but he didn't have it braided. He had 2 big puff balls. So we found somebody that could braid his hair. Then we ran into a guy that I think he was renting scooters out or something. He had some kind of connection to like little motor scooters or something. And we kind of, let me back up. That night after we hit the lick, before we go to the Underground Mall, we park in a parking garage that you can go in. We park in a parking garage. And as we in the parking garage, I doze off a little sleep. My homeboy smoking. My homeboy smoking. And I tell him, I was like, "Man, make sure you turn the truck out." So I go to sleep. I wake up. There's money all in the dashboard. I'm guessing he just been having a great old time. I go to start the truck up. Truck dead. That's how we ended up getting out of the truck and walking to the Underground Mall and running into these people, because the truck that we had, the battery was dead, which probably was a plus for us at the time. Yeah. So by the time we run into the guy with the scooters, my homeboy tells him, he was like, "Man, my homeboy got a truck." He was like, "The battery dead." He was like, "Do you know somebody that can jump it?" He was like, man, the cabs around here, like, they'll jump it. You probably just have to pay them $25. He pulls out all the money and was like, that ain't nothing. So at this point, I'm thinking, why would you show him, He was like, what kind of truck is it? He started describing the truck and this and that. And he was like, oh, yeah, let me see the truck. So we go, we show him the truck. Now he want to hang out with us. We get the truck jump. We riding around. He don't know. We done robbed 4 or 5 people in this truck.
Right.
He has absolutely no idea.
The police are absolutely looking for this truck.
Exactly. So we drive to, he take us to a hotel because he was 18, like whatever, he was old enough to get a hotel. He go get us a room. He don't know what's going on, but he go get us a room. He showed us what that club was. He was gonna take us back there. He telling us all this stuff he gonna do with us. So after we get him to get the room, we ride around for a little bit, and I tell him, I'm like, look, I gotta drop you off. I said, I'm gonna come back and get you. I said, I gotta go pick up my brother, and he don't like new faces. He was like, man, y'all gonna come back and get me for real? I was like, yeah, we're gonna come back and get you. I said, my brother just don't like new faces. Let me go take care of that, and I'm gonna come back. So we dropped him off where we found him. And it wasn't 10, 15 minutes after that. 10, 15 minutes, we driving around, police get behind me. My homeboy done went to sleep. I hit 2, 3 lights. It's 2, 3 police, but I still ain't woken up.
That's where the
yet.
19 came from.
I still ain't woken up.
Wait till we're actually in trouble.
Yeah, I still ain't woken up. So we riding, and there's like 4 or 5 of them. I tapped
We
him.
got 2,300
I said, look,
off cows.
don't jump up, panic or nothing. He's like, what's going on? Because he ain't have
What you
shoes
mean?
on. He was like, what's going
We
on?
got like
I said, brother,
23,000
police
off
is
of
behind
cows.
us.
When we sold all the
He
cows,
said, for real, I said, it's
New
about
livestock.
6 of them, too. He said, I know. I
New
said, they
livestock.
gonna get 2, 3
we
blocks.
paid like
He was like, what we gonna do? I said, I don't know. We finna do
35
something. So
sold
we
animals.
driving, and it's a red light. We the first at the red light, though. When we get at the red light, we literally, both of us, looking out of our rear view, it was enough cop cars to count 12, 13 to the point of where you knew it was a long line of police. So by the time, it's 2 other police cars that done hit their lights, but not the siren coming down this side of the 4-way. So by the time they get close enough, you hear the sirens go off. So when the sirens go off, ain't none of the traffic moving. So my first thought was hit the gas. So when I pull off, this police car I make it around him just enough, and this police car, they blocked all the rest of them, which gave us a head start. Mm-hmm. So we get a head start, and as we driving, my homeboy was just saying, find the interstate, find the interstate. I know. What you mean? Like, find the interstate. Well, I still don't know what we about to do. And we driving, and it's a blue ambulance that's getting on the interstate the same time we getting on the interstate. So when we turn, you can feel the truck almost lift up just a little bit. And the blue ambulance truck stops. We get around it, and I'm getting it. They lay on the horn, but they moved enough and blocked the police from getting on the interstate. So we got another head start. We get on the interstate, and we just punching it, just going straight in between cars. So we get far enough to where you can barely hear the sirens. And if it's a little hill, just enough, I know when I go over it, it's enough to not see the police. So as we driving, it's a ramp to get off on, and I can't see them. So we go over, and I get off on the ramp. When I get off on the ramp, we stop. We didn't know who was gonna get out and run or nothing, but I knew we had a lead on him. My homeboy reaches in the glove box, hands me the gun. I hand it back to him. He handed it to me. I rolled out the window, threw it out the window in the bushes. And as we sit there, literally, the police, you just, it went on for about 2 minutes. We just sitting there, looking up. And by that time, I turn the truck around, come back up the ramp. We going towards the traffic that's coming towards us. We driving. And the trucks just, we drive up the interstate front for about 5 minutes. My homeboy was like, we can't keep doing it. He was like, man, we're going to have a wreck. I bust a U-turn in the middle of the interstate, drive up a little bit, get off on the ramp, go on, get on to another, and we just kept driving straight. He was like, where we going? I was like, I don't know, we're just going to keep driving straight. We ended up in Alabama. Got away.
Oh my God.
True story.
I mean, I can't believe you stayed in the truck.
Yeah, stayed in the truck. Stayed in the truck. I didn't, what else? Stayed in the truck. Stayed in the truck. We got to Alabama. It was a theme park. I don't know I can't remember what park it was. We ended up at this park. We parked the truck. It's a hotel next to the theme park. We parked the truck. walked to the theme park parking lot. We was waiting for people to come out. We was gonna follow them to their car and take another car. So as we walking behind these two girls, one of the girls turned around and was like, why y'all keep following us? We was like, man, ain't nobody following y'all. They was like, yes, you are. You like y'all following us. Y'all need to quit following us. We ain't walking no further until y'all quit following, until y'all turn around and quit following. So we turn around and we go get back in the truck and we just sitting in the parking lot. And as we sitting there, we don't know what we're gonna do. We don't know if we want it back home. We know Atlanta. We don't know if they know we stole the truck back home. We don't know if the girls are there. We don't know none of that. So as we sitting there inside of my homeboy, I heard, and I looked over, and that's one of my catchphrases on YouTube. This is actually where this catchphrase come from. And I looked over at him, and he looked up at me, and we looked at each other, and he said, I want to go home. I want to go home. And I started crying too. I said, bro, man, me too. And we hugged each other. He was like, how we gonna get there? I was like, I don't know. I said, I don't know. I said, man, we just gonna get on this thing. We're gonna drive straight. But we need some gas. So we go to the gas station, and an 18-wheeler pull up. I'm in the gas station. I'm getting snacks, and I see my homeboy talking to the truck driver. So when I come out, I'm like, what you talking to him about? He was like, I asked him, how do we get to Nashville from here? He said, get on, I think it's I-65 North or I-65 South, which I can't remember. But whichever one, he said, just get on I-65 and just keep going straight. He said, you'll run straight into it. I was like, all right, bet. So we get on the interstate, we driving. I've been driving this whole time. So I tell my homeboy, I'm like, bro, you gotta drive. Like, I'm telling you, like, all right, bet. I said, we need gas, pull over and get gas. He was like, all right. I don't know how long we was driving. We ran out of gas. In the middle of the night.
Why didn't you get gas? I mean, in general, you had the money, right? You still had money, right?
We got some gas. I don't know if we filled it up, but I know we ran out of gas in the middle of the interstate. When he woke me up, cars was, that's how I knew. I had jumped in the back of the ambulance, laid down, and the cars was just going by us. He woke me up, and he was like, run. And I raised up and looked. I said, what's going on? He said, man, we out of gas. I smacked him in the back of the head instantly. I said, why you need to stop and get some gas, bro? He was like, man, but we gotta get the... We pushed the truck to the side of the road. We could see a gas station, but where we were at, it's a ramp. A car's coming around this ramp, but it's a bunch of big rocks right there. I said, instead of walking all the way to that store, we're gonna take these rocks, we're gonna line them up across this interstate. Somebody's gonna stop.
You guys have had one brilliant idea after another.
Man, listen, I can't make this stuff up, bro. They were not stopping.
I was gonna say, who stopped?
They were not stopping. They were tearing their cars up. So at this point, we gotta walk to this store. And as we walking, you know how you can tell it looked like rain started somewhere. It looked like it's rain. It could be raining right here and be nothing here. Yeah. That's what it looked like as we were getting closer. We thinking that, dang, it's raining. We get there, it's cicadas. I think that's what you call them. Like
the bugs?
Yes.
Okay.
They were swarming all over the place. It was like we walked into a blizzard of cicadas. Like we literally walked in, it was just all over, like it was bugs everywhere. We fought through and get to the store. It's bugs all over the store. When we walk in the store, we knocking bugs off in the store. And the guy, when we looked up at the guy at the register, he looked at us, he said, where did y'all come from? We knocking bugs off. And we was like, our parents ran out of gas. He was like, well, they didn't give you a gas can? Because I don't sell gas cans. I was like, what? But he was like, you could try to put it in something. We ended up getting some gas. We drove back. We go to his girlfriend's house. When we get there, she complaining. She going off her shower. She already didn't like me. I go in her bathroom. I took a bird bath in there. Brushed my teeth with they toothbrushes and all that. It's been 2 days. Like it's crazy. So they had got quiet while I was in the bathroom. So by the time I come out of the bathroom, I had called my brother to come and get us. We're gonna get our story together. We're gonna go back, whatever. My brother comes. I go outside to go see if it's him. I hear the music. When I come back, the clothes that we bought in the bags was sitting outside of the door because we had parked the Avalanche. When we got back to Nashville, we parked it at skating ring, wiped it down, got out. We called his girlfriend on the collect phone. and we was right around the corner from her house.
Oh, something y'all took it.
I see my bags outside the door. I run downstairs to get my brother. I was like, my bags outside the door. He ain't coming out. We gotta go get him. So we go upstairs, try to kick the door. The neighbor started coming out. And as I'm kicking the door, I hear his girlfriend saying, I'm calling Metro. I'm gonna call Metro, and I'm telling him everything. And he ain't saying nothing. He already done told him about the Mitsubishi. Right. We already got this case ready. Now he finna go down there and even tell him about the avalanche, which he did. And that's how I got locked up the second time. I did 10
You
months.
should have dropped the avalanche off at your buddies.
I should have taken that back. I should have taken it back. He didn't press charges.
Really? So you
Dallas-
dropped it off at the hand.
Yeah, Dallas didn't press charges. We ended up getting charged. I still always wonder to this day, no bull. What happened with the Atlanta thing? We
Never heard anything about it?
nothing. I'm talking about we Flatfoot got away, clean. I wanted to. If anybody see this, I was like, I wonder if they hear this, will they remember like? Cause I want to apologize. I ain't gonna lie, cause I done matured. Like when we were doing it, like it was crazy. Like we were literally blocking cars off, getting out. Like that lady that had that wreck and jumped out and took out. I didn't get to see her run, but I always wondered, like, dang, I wonder, and nothing ever came from that. Nothing ever came from it. But this time I did 10 months, and when I got
10
out,
months just for the stolen car.
10 months for the stolen car.
And
Yeah.
neither one of you said, hey, there's this thing in Atlanta.
No.
Oh, okay.
Nah, it never came up. Dallas never pressed charges. They found. Here's another thing I thought about. When they got the truck, how didn't Tennessee run the plates and see that it was? I'm like, was it because it was another state? Like, wasn't no alert on it? Wasn't nothing. Like he got the truck back in Tennessee. Didn't press no charges. It was over. Matter of fact, when we got out, after we done the 10 months, Dallas bought us Tennessee Titans tickets. I'm telling you, man, he bought us Tennessee Titans. He wanted to take both of us to a football game. I didn't go with him.
And he knows you stole the truck.
Yes. He was just in my comment section like 2 weeks ago. Like, I'm proud of you. Seriously. He got the truck back in one piece. But yeah, I did 10 months at a YDC youth detention center. It's like a baby prison. It's got the fence around it. It's got the prison programs. It's basically preparing you to go to the penitentiary.
So you're basically, 16, 17 by now?
I'm 16. Yeah, I'm 16, 17. Let me see. I'm 16. I had to be 16 right here. I had to be 16 at the YDC. So I do the 10 months at the YDC. This is when I started flirting with affiliation, because I knew my daddy was a GD, because he had a pitchfork burned, like seared in his hand right here. And so when I would see people throw up the pitchforks, and I kind of got curious, and I was like, oh, that's what my dad is. And so that's kind of when I started saying that I was a gangster at the time. And so I do the 10 months. I come home, and I'm running around saying I'm GD. I don't know nothing about GD at the time.
Right.
And so
Probably not a good idea.
But somebody ends up telling my dad. My dad calls, and he tells me to come to the prison to see him. And when I go to the prison to see him, of course, he asked me the questions to see if I knew, and I said the stuff that I thought I knew, and he was like, "Don't ever repeat that." He was like, "That's not, no, that's not." And he was like, "If that's what you want to do," and I'm 16. He was like, "If that's what you want to do, like I can, And I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do." Like,
Oh my God.
that's exactly what I want to do. But yeah, he used to have guys come down and pick us up and chill with us, all kind of stuff. Like that's how my brother ended up like one of the biggest drug dealers in my town of Springfield. But through my daddy, it was a guy he was locked up with that came home and was major, and my daddy connected him with my brother, and next thing you know, my brother was So that's how that happened. And then after the 10 months, I stayed out. I think this time I stayed out like 8 months, and I went back in for attempted murder.
What was that for?
Okay, so the attempted murder charge happened because it's a bunch of stories in one. It was a guy my brother had got into it with, because I learned how to cook rock at 15, 16 as well.
Right.
So my brother used to ask me to cook for him. And one day, I guess he couldn't get a hold of me, so he asked somebody else to do it. And they got this method where they call like pouring down a drain. And because when it's still in liquid form, when it get cold, so when it go down and get on the pipe, when it get cold, it'll stick to the pipe, and they'll tell you it ended up losing. Let's say, for instance, it was 28 grams, and now they done poured it down the drain, and now it's only showing 20. When you thinking you lost 8, when the truth is they poured it and it's stuck in the pipe. So when you leave, they'll unscrew the pipe and get the rest of it out. That's basically probably what they did to my brother, but it was a lot. So my brother ended up coming and telling me, because I was kind of Muslim. My brother ain't street, like we kind of night and day.
All right.
So he ends up coming to tell me about it, and that's the reason I had a lot of beefs too, because of him. I was always having to
Always get me.
always, and he come and tell me about it. We get in the car. He don't know I got a gun on me, and when we pull up, he thought he saw the guy who done it. He thought he had a gun on me. He was like, wait a minute. He was like, I think he got a gun on him, boo. And by that, because they call me boo. By this time, I get out of the car, cocked him, and I already pointed at him and told him to put his hands up. So he put his hands up. As he put his hands up, I tell my brother to get out of the truck and pat him down. I'm 16 at the time. I'm still 16. And I had never done a drug a day in my life. Never drank, never smoked, till to this day. So, as I got him at gunpoint, this guy's grandmother is out. I don't even know why she was out that late. She gets out of her car and walks up, and she was
You
like,
got
"What
two
wrong?
bail
I'm
rapping
telling you, friend." I
contracts?
turn and point the gun at her and tell her, you need to get back in the car. This ain't got nothing to do with you. So she goes and get back in the car, and I tell him, look, whoever got my brother work, they need to get it back. And he was like, I don't know. He was like, I ain't do that. So I was like, okay. It's a trap house.
How much are
So
you
it's
each of
several
them?
people there
Ain't that
that's
much.
pushing. I walk in the house,
But it's fast
gun
enough.
out, and everybody
You
like,
got-
I don't
you got
know
both
what's
of them?
going on.
I finna
I
do
said,
both of them.
if somebody don't pay
No,
my
I didn't
brother
borrow. I
back,
didn't rent the equipment. I just used
everybody
ours.
going, I don't want to use that word. Everybody got to drop it off. So at that point,
I'm
they
just
like,
gonna
man,
use
we
our
ain't got nothing to
equipment,
do with
you
that.
know?
And the girl who lived there, she got 2 daughters and got to go to school in the morning. She come around the corner and said, you got to get out of my house. You with that gun like you tripping. And I said, how I'm tripping? You got several drug dealers in your house. You got kids that got to go to school in the morning. They trapping out of here, playing dominoes, smoking, drinking. You tripping about a gun. You might well go on in your room. Let me finish doing what I got to do. And she went on in the room. And I turned around and I said, who gonna pay for it? And everybody pitched in and paid. And then I ended up leaving. So to get to the attempted murder, man,
That started. That's
kind of the spark of it. At this time, my daddy done gave me a plug at the time, which the guy who done changed his life to this day too. He actually in ministry. I get a 9-piece. You know what a 9-piece is. I get it. I drive back home, and I take 2 ounces of it. I'm finna go get one cooked. I'm finna sell one. But I got one of my cars getting worked on. The guy we call Cowboy. So I'm finna go check on my car. And as I go to check on my car, the girl I'm talking to at the time messaged me and asked me for something, whatever it was. I just spent my real money. I got a lot going on. I ain't trying to hear it right now. And I might have been on the run at the time as well. I'm sure I was. So when she asked me, I texted back and I was like, no, I can't do that right now. Like, and she texted me back tripping and was like, okay, I'm finna flush all your work down the toilet. And I'm like, so I tell him, finna whatever he got going on with the car, he finna cook the work for him. I give him that. I get in the car to drive back home. Her son is outside. We stay in the projects, 21st. Her son is outside. I walk through the storm door. Before I walk through the storm door, I can see her mom sitting on the couch. When I go through, gun already in my hand, Smith & Wesson Blue Steel 9, extended clip 21. She's sitting on the couch. Her mom said, "Boo, what's going on?" Her daughter is in the kitchen washing dishes. She turned around, see the gun in my hand. By the time I up the gun, her mama get to screaming and tell me, "Don't do that." So by the time I look in my peripheral, I can see her son. I wasn't stunned her mama. Because I'm asking her, where does that work at? Because I take it back. I went and checked. When I walked in, I checked, and my spot, it wasn't in there. So by the time I up, I'm like, where's my work at? And she was like, if you gonna do it, go ahead and do it. Her mama doing all the screaming. She walks up on me and spits on me. So by the time
The mom?
No, the
Okay.
daughter. When she spit, I'm looking and I see her son coming through the storm door. So as I see her son coming through the storm door, that's the only reason why I was like, you know what, you ain't gotta worry about it, you'll read about it. I was on run at the time. I was tired. So I go in the pantry, I got a AK-47. I grabbed the AK-47, it's got a shoulder strap on it. I put the AK-47 on, I walk out the house, I get in the car and I pull out. When I go around the corner, I see the guy that my brother had got into it with. And it was, I almost said his name. I ain't gonna say his name. But anyway, when I drive around, it's a bunch of people out though. There's kids out, like it's almost like a block party.
Right.
So I drive
Oh,
up
you
the
went ahead and
street
cut
and
it?
I say to myself, I'm gonna come in around the corner and I'm gonna get it. And so as I'm driving, I see a friend of mine who was supposed to have been sleeping with my girl at the time too. So he runs a stop sign because he's trying to help somebody do something. He runs a stop sign. I take the AK-47 and I sit it on the window outside of the car and I let out about 6 or 7 shots. His brother in the passenger seat. I see the bullets go through. His brother tries to dive out of the passenger side window because the window went down. The car veers off. It looked like I hit him because he had a hoodie on. So the hoodie goes up. I see the bullet go through. Car swerved. He tried to jump out the window. I didn't see if it crashed or not. I turned off and went. I'm back on 21st, the street where I was living on. So as I'm driving up the street, there's just so much going on in my head at the time. I come back around to that top of the street where I see all them people at, and I got a magazine clip too, which means you can take one uncut and put the other one in.
Right.
So I stopped, let the window down, and I just let it ride. I just probably 30, 40 shots. Take the magazine clip, I put the other one in. Just
Where? At what?
at the guy.
Okay.
At the guy, going back to the situation. Now I ended up hitting him. I think I grazed his arm and I hit him in the butt. Not knowing that I was even gonna do that from a distance. Like you said, what my guy said, I guess I'm a good shot.
Yeah.
So I pull off and we got this woman, I can say her name, Pee Wee. Shout out to Pee Wee. Pee Wee was the neighborhood lady that had the scanner that could hear what was going on as far as police. And she called her grandson that I was cool with at the time and told him that she had heard my name on the scanner. And he called me and he was like, man, Granny just called, said she heard your name on the scanner. You might want to get out that car. I was so mad and frustrated and tired at the time. I was tired of the life in general. I probably was almost ready to let them take me out, to be honest. And I was like, man, I ain't worried about that. I was like, I'm finna go back around there and do it again. I don't even know I hit him at the time. So as I'm driving, I get to this four-way to go back around. It's a cop we call Bogle. Shout out to Bogle, man. He infamous. He always in unmarked cars. He set people up, confidential informers. Had your homeboy tell on you. He one of them cops. He one of them. You gotta watch him. He might be dressed up as a junkie in the hood with a hood on, and ain't no telling about this dude. But so Bogle, I'm sitting at a four-way, getting ready. I got the AK-47 sitting in the passenger, just sitting there like he ran with me. And then I got the Blue Steel Smith & Wesson sitting in my lap. I got an ounce of white in my pocket. I got scales, Pyrex jar, and armrest.
It's not good. It's not a good situation.
It's horrible. So as I'm sitting at the four-way, I see it's an expedition, gray expedition. I think it was gray at the time. I think it was in gray or blue. And as I'm sitting there, for some reason, I'm looking because he's on the same street where all them people are. And I just see somebody get down like that. And so when I noted, I kind of looked and I said, that's Bogle. And I knew it was on. And at that point, I turned right, smashed the gas. He smashed, he got behind me. 2 police cars was coming down. They got behind him. We on high speed. I'm in one of my cousin's car at the time. I called her during the high speed. She called me during the high speed chase. She was like, what's going on? People tell me you're getting chased by the police in my car. You done did this and did that and shot it. This and I was like, I'm driving like I'm in a high speed, and I'm calm as I'm talking to her. I'm like, what is you talking about? I'm chilling, like, I'm good. Like, what's going on? She was like, everybody keep talking to me. I'm like, what is you? I'm good. I'm straight. right. As I'm driving, she was like, you been out? I was like, I'm good. I'm like, ain't none of that going on. So I end up almost running out of gas. And I reached over and grabbed the AK-47 and I let the window down. And when I let the window down, Bo was behind me. I thought about it now, because I'm thinking I'm going to shoot enough just to slow him down. And then I was like, no.
The problem is you've got all these little tiny 15 months or 8 months, 10 months sentence, 5 months, that you don't have any idea how much trouble you're in right now.
Right. At least at the time, I ain't thinking.
You? I mean, or
I don't.
you think,
No.
You think if they catch me, I
I'm here.
What are you thinking?
I'm a juvie. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but the law has a certain amount of passes before they say, I don't give a shit how old you are.
I found
You're
out.
an adult. You're making adult. These are adult crimes.
They call it. Back in Tennessee, they call it bounding you over. Yeah, bounding you over. So I ended up. I didn't let out no shots. I ended up jumping out of the car while I was rolling, and I take out running. And as I'm running, I gotta leap on the police. It's 2 fences, 2 small fences. I leap one, and when I go to leap the other, my body shut down. I'm literally laying. I thought I was paralyzed. I'm looking at the police run towards me, and I'm having a conversation with myself like, why can't I move? Like I'm scared. I got an ounce of white in my pocket. I'm knowing what was in the car, and I can't move nothing. And when the police got to the fence,
But
he
more
jumped the
more
first, he got
grass.
to the fence and he kind of like,
I thought the grass grow around
I
nothing.
said, I can't move.
I thought so
He was
too,
like, what?
but-
I was like, I don't know. I said, I can't move.
But you're not on drugs or anything? You just, what do you think, the adrenaline just
honey?
crashed?
Well, they took me to the hospital. They said I was low on potassium. They said my body just shut down. They brought me some bananas and some water, and I jumped back. Literally, true story, bro. Like, but the police, they didn't want to touch me, so they called the ambulance. And when they called the ambulance said for some reason they couldn't put me.
You do
in
know
the
it was
ambulance.
slowly
So they
turning,
ended
right?
up picking me up
What
and
was slowly
set
turning?
me in the backseat of the police car.
That
and my
field.
arm started moving just a little bit. And I
That
took
field
the
was
wife
shifting
and pushed me
inward.
down in the seat as far as I
From
could.
where you-
It didn't seem like it.
Took me
It
in the
said
hospital.
it had. It just said harvested. It didn't say.
It said harvested. It said that need to be harvested.
Look at the middle part there that
outer-
said harvested.
They asked me all these questions.
I didn't harvest the whole thing. I just harvested the middle.
That I shot. He's
But you harvested earlier when you cut the
They
grass.
stopped him in front of my door.
When you cut the grass, you harvested.
And it had said growing. It never said that had that purple in it
And he said,
again.
I don't know who shot
Okay.
me. And when he said that,
I don't know why it did the
I said,
middle
well,
like
I'm
that.
gonna get on out of here. I said, so by the time I say I'm getting ready to leave, they were like, no, we got the guns. I was like, I didn't make my guns. They were like, well, who guns is it? I said, the other person that was in the car. They said, who else was in the car? I said, I can't tell you. They said, you jumped out of the driver's side. We got the car with nobody. I said, they made my guns. They never charged me with the guns. True story. They never charged me with the guns.
What?
You had enough stuff. You
Springfield,
didn't need
Tennessee.
to.
It sounds like the city to
What you
commit
mean?
crime.
I'm dead. I am dead serious.
They
never
had enough
charged me
stuff.
with the
They didn't
gun.
need to charge
I
you
got
with the
charged.
gun.
They didn't charge me with the gun, but I got charged with the attempted murder. And I got a lawyer named George Duzane. He got it dropped down to aggravated assault, said because it was below the waist. They gave me 3 years for that, and then they gave me 1 year for the they call it felony evading. I got 4 years probation, and then I got out. I was out 8 months. That was I did a year on the nose on that.
Wait a minute.
Mhm.
You pled guilty. Did you go to trial?
I plead guilty.
Pled guilty to 1 count of
Aggravated assault.
okay.
Yep.
And what was the other charge?
Felony evading for the high-speed chase.
And they gave you 4 years and you did 1?
I did 4 years.
Oh, you did
No,
4
no,
years.
no, you said it right. You said it right.
You got 4 years.
I did a year on the nose and I came home on 3 years paper.
A year on 4 years.
True sir. Yeah.
Was that because you were
I was a juvie. They bound me over. It was basically my first offense. But before that, I gotta tell you about this lick.
real quick, did you go to a juvenile prison or did you go to an
No,
adult prison?
when they called me, I was 17 because this was the case they bound me over on.
Okay.
So I ended up doing a little time in juvie, then they bound it over, and then I stayed in jail, whatever little time I had, and then I went home from jail. So I went to juvie and jail. Because when they asked me at the hospital, they were like, you going to jail? You know that? I was like, I ain't going to jail. They were like, oh, you going to jail for this? I was like, you can't take me to jail. They were like, why come we can't take you to jail? I said, I'm only 17. You can't take me to jail. You got to take me to juvie. You call John. All my people who've been watching, they'll know what I'm talking about. That was my caseworker, John. But yeah, that's the story before I was home 8 months and then the murder case. But before the attempted murder, I had hit a lick robbery for $125,000 cash.
Okay.
This happened. I'm in high school.
Right.
I'm sitting in school suspension.
Where is he?
And this
What city?
guy walks up. I won't say his
Florida.
name.
What state?
Tennessee.
Florida?
No, cool.
Might be
Cool, too.
Tennessee.
Yeah, that's not Georgia.
So I'm sitting in school suspension. Everybody know me at the time for robbing. I kind of got a name for robbing. And this guy walked up, a white guy, and he was like, "Man, I want to holler at you about this lick we can ready to hit." I said, "That what's up? What's up?" He said, "Man, it's 4 of us." He said, "There's a woman who can barely see and barely hear." He said, "We from." He said, "True story."
I don't doubt it.
He said, "There's a woman who can barely see, barely hear." He said, "And we already know that the money is there because they had already been stealing and robbing them for
See
guns."
what I mean?
And so they ended up
Like
running
how the
across
Our
the
Edge
safe,
is ready to harvest
stealing the
now.
guns that they were selling.
My suggestion would be
And I
just
said,
wait
it was
till
like,
all
I
of
said,
us
look,
ready to
what is it?
harvest, then harvest all
He
of
was
it.
like, I
You
don't
know?
want to tell you. I don't want to tell you right now. He said, but we're going to give
That
you
make any
$5,000
sense?
a piece. That's $20,000. Damn. I said, well, who is it? They wouldn't tell me who it was. He said, if you tell me the plan will work, he said, we're going to give you $5,000. I said, well, what's the plan? He tell me the plan. He said, bro, the door going to be unlocked. We're going to pull in. We're going to walk in like normal people. He was like, do you think we need to wear masks? He was like, because everybody in the neighborhood knows we don't want to look suspect. He said, we're just going to go in the house. He said, you walk in, you turn left. It's a closet right there. Under the blanket, the safe. We're going to get the safe. Walk out. One of the guys is going to watch the lady. 2 people going to pick it up. 1 person going to stay in the truck. We're going to do. I said, that's it? He was like, yeah. I said, that's the easiest robbery I ever heard in my life. I was like, yeah, that'll work. When y'all gonna do it? Because I want my cut. So he was like, we're gonna do it. He was like, I'm gonna
We
call
just
you. I'll
got
let
3
you know.
more.
He was like, you sure that'll work? I was like, yeah. Just let me know when y'all do it. A couple of days or weeks or whatever.
That's
go by.
from them, the
I'm
big
asking.
boys.
I'm asking. They ain't never do it. So one day I'm sitting in the bed. It's kind of raining outside. My phone ring. And he was like, man, you need to get up. He said, you need to go with us. He was like, this is the perfect time because whatever was going on, I guess they was aware of whatever. He was like, but my brother, who's the other guy supposed to pick up the say, he was like, he ain't answering his phone.
How many people?
I think his
How
phone
many
dead
cows
when
can we
he get
have?
that girl or whatever. He was like,
I think
we need you
25.
for a person. I already know the plan. But I had been telling my homeboys
So we
about
got
it
19.
as far as how they told
Okay.
me, but I don't know where it's at. I don't know. I just know how they explained it. So they drive to the house and get me.
Okay, we got meth.
I call
We
my
use
homeboys and
enough.
tell them, y'all go to
We
the
got to put
house.
some more food.
Because my plan initially was, y'all rob us when we get back with the safe.
Right.
So, as we, they pick me up. They don't know I gotta go. We drive to the house. When we get to the house, this house is 5-6 minutes from where I live. Nice neighborhood. We literally bagged in the driveway. And I was like, I've been robbing the wrong way. Like, this is crazy. They bagged in, no mask, no gloves, no nothing. They stepped out of the car and I was like, come on. I'm like, this is crazy. So I got out, I walk in the house with them. Nice house. I'm talking about Corey, they got all kind of stuff. We walk in, door unlocked. Guy went over, closed the door up on the lady. She watching Young and the Restless. We turned, right there, boom, open the door, safe. Move the blankets. I was like, just that easy? So we been down. At that point, my mind racing. Like, how do I gotta, like, what? We been down to pick the safe up, and I said it was too heavy. I said, put it down. I said, it's too heavy. I said, we can't get that. It's too heavy. Y'all, you have to go get your brother. He was like, nah, boy, I'm telling you, we got it. I said, no. I said, we picked it up and dropped it. She hear police doing it. We doing it. I said, just go get your brother. We'll come right back. He was like, all right. So we covered it back up, closed the door, As we walking out, I'm texting my homeboys, don't do, when we pull up, y'all be over here at the basketball court, let them pull out, pick me up, they were like, all right, cool. They drive me back to my mama's house. I get out, they pull off, I waved them off. When they pulled off, my homeboys pulled up in the truck. Before they even stopped, I jumped in the back of the truck, put my hand on the window, opened the window. He was like, where we going? I said, turn this way. I said, when we get there, me and you, we going in, we gonna pick up the safe. You go in, you watch this woman, she gonna be over at this door. You sit in the truck. And as I'm driving, I'm explaining all this. We drive the back end the same way they did. Then they were comfortable, we comfortable. We good. we ain't nothing. We back in this driveway. Get out, walk in, same plan. But this time, my little cousin, he see the keys. They had I don't think it was a Harley, it was some kind of motorcycle they had. He grabbed the keys, he was like, man, I said, no, that ain't what we here for. Put that down, leave that alone. We go, watch the lady, we been in the corner, pick the safe up, put it in the truck, pull it out, put it in the house. I told them to drive back around to the basketball court. I sit there, waited a couple of minutes, they called me. We finna come back, we finna pick you up, we got my brother. That was cool. I'm going back up every time. they called me, they was like, come outside. So I come out, I come running, gun on me. I know it ain't none of them got a gun. I get in the car, we drive down the street, go back over there, they back in again. We go in the house, but what we forgot to do was close the door. The closet door where the safe was at. So we go in, the brother, he kind of cocky, he walk in, and he go over by the door, and he turned the corner of the closet. He turned around, he was like, why would y'all left the closet door open? Like, what are y'all doing? But he walking closer, and by the time he see the safe gone, he kind of started looking, and they were like, what? He was like, the safe is gone. He started going off. I upped the gun on everybody. Don't nobody move in here. Don't nobody move. Don't nobody move until I get my cut. I don't know what y'all did with the safe, where it's at, what you got going on.
What are you all got pulling?
Quit playing with me. Everybody ducking and no, boo, I promise. I said, nah, y'all don't know what y'all think this is. So I'm kind of going off and waving the gun at everybody. And we kind of calmed down. They were like,
This woman's in the next room.
she there. They said she could barely see him barely here. I guess they told the truth. So we ended up leaving. Getting in the car, we arguing in the car. I got the gun out the whole time. They take me back to my mama's house. They pull off saying we finna find out who done it. I had my homeboys to pull up. They pulled up. We're trying to crack it open. We couldn't get it open. One of my homeboys was on probation. Well, my cousin was on probation, the one who owned the truck, but his daddy's truck. He had to go see a probation officer, and one of my other homeboy, he wanted to ride with him to the probation officer. I said, that was so cool. So he leaves. There's only two of them. My brother upstairs, my daughter upstairs. We cracked the safe open, just enough for me to get my hand in it. It was a little box. I unhooked the box, reached in the box, just enough to grab a little bit, and I pulled out all $100 bills. I pulled out about $30,000, all 100. It scared me. I dropped it. I just looked at the money. I looked at my cousin. We both was like, I think we both felt like we in trouble. More so than we rich. I think we were like, somebody come looking for this. And then, so I ran upstairs. I went and got my brother. I was like, come downstairs. He was a big time drug dealer at the time. So we come downstairs and he see the money. He was like, what you done did? I was like, and he grabbed the money. When he grabbed the money, my little cousin pulled a gun out on my brother. He was like, nah, you put that down. I said, whoa, hold on. He was like, nah, he didn't go with us. He didn't get nothing. He was like, man, my brother threw the money up in the air. He was like, we rich. So we ended up getting all the money out. It's $125,000 cash. All 100. And they had a bunch of coins, like with blue books in them, like you could unfold them. And these coins would tell you the value. And we didn't know what they were. We threw them away. I'm talking about stacks like this. Jars, Buffalo. I didn't know what Buffalo coins was. They had, I'm talking about thousands of coins. Thousands of coins. We just took it and
And you
threw
wonder
it away.
why
Then years later,
they
they
fuss
was
about
like,
keep
coins,
letting
and
them
I
out.
could remember seeing the value of them coins. I remember it. I just was like, man, we don't want the coins. We want the money. We threw all the coins away. And I ended up giving my brother majority. I gave my brother 60, I took 40, gave my little cousin 20. And then when they came, we told them it was only like 30, 40, and we gave them like $2,500 a piece. And then it came, and then it came out in the news. It came out in the newspaper how much money it was, and people started wearing T-shirts and saying that they was gonna give me. It started floating around in my name that I done it, but the 4 white guys ended up getting charged, and they started telling them it was me.
They got charged for what? They didn't sell for burglary, but they didn't steal anything. Or injuring a...
They still paying their money back to this day.
Oh my God.
True story. True story. Well, I talked to one of them. What I tell you, man, I ran across one of them when I came home and had a job, and I didn't know he worked there till I was there for about 2-3 weeks. And we ran across each other. We was driving a college cherry picker, and I seen him. He seen me, and you could feel the tension. And then somebody ended up saying something to him. And I was like, man, tell him I want to talk to him, cause I don't know where your mind is like. And we ended up talking, and he jumped off the machine. He walked up to me, put his finger in my face. He said, man, I want to off you for a long time. He was like, but I understand. He was like, I was just another pawn in your chess game. And we had a conversation. He was like, I'm over it. He was like, but I don't even want nobody to know I got a job. He was like, bro, we still paying that money back. He was like, because of the interest. Something when you pay it is because of the interest, collect the interest or whatever the case may be. But yeah, man, they tried to tell the police that it was me. I went down there and talked to the police willingly 3 times. I went down there.
What did you just say?
In the car that I bought with the coat I had on. The first time I went there,
With the money.
in my pocket.
Right.
Well, the first time I went in there, the detective told me. He said I'm only just following up on all leads. He said I don't believe you got it. He's like, it's impossible for you to have it. He was like, you don't know where they live. You don't know what time. You don't know what his safe would be. You don't have no connection with the friend. How would you even know any information? He said, and we know they know because they were stealing the guns and selling them. He told me the whole case.
Oh, okay, so that's really what linked them because of the guns.
Right.
So they just threw that out. Nothing. What are they gonna say? We've already sold this many guns. You got us. Oh yeah, and the
Can you
safe.
believe this?
We did this, but not that.
No.
Can you believe this?
Yeah.
Somebody's life?
We went back and forth, and he was
I
like,
mean,
no,
yes.
that was the first time.
To be honest,
Second
they
time,
probably should have locked his ass up the
it
first
was a
time and
pressure.
left him in there
They were like, they
to ride.
insisted that they
But
called
no,
you that day,
I'm a
some
minor,
text messages
so I can
that
do
day,
anything.
this and that.
You
I'm
know?
like, man, ain't nobody, I don't know nothing about none of that. I'm thinking he's trying to scare
That
me.
wasn't Georgia.
'Cause I only text them that morning. That was the only time we ever text. Other than that, there wasn't no phone connection to me. So when I left, I was kind of wary. But I didn't even tell the other people that were with me that I had been going down there to talk to the police. Because if I had to, I ain't gonna lie, I was gonna throw everybody under the bus. That's true. I was holding all the cards. If I got the butt, the third time I went, he called me. He was like, I need you to come down here again. So I went down there. He told me, he was like, we're about to get the message. He was like, is there anything you want to tell me? I said, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I said, all I know is I was sitting in institute suspension. I said, the guy named, I said, he came up to me and told me that they was finna get this safe and they was gonna give me $20,000 a piece. All I know is that all this stuff done broke out. My name was in it. I saw it in the newspaper and I still ain't got my money. That's all I know. That's all I know. And he was like, and I believe you. And I said, what do I said, well, I'm good to go. He was like, yeah. That's it.
He's already got his guys. They're already rolling over on each other left and right.
And I walked out and he called me one last time. I was in my mama's house. He called me. He was like, Joe, he was like, he was like, I know you done been down here a few times without. I was like, you do know I'm 17, right? He was like, yeah. I was like, I've been down there 3 times without my mama. I said, I done told my mama. I said, my mama said next time I come down there, she gonna file a lawsuit. Never heard from him again. It was over. It was over. It was done. It was done. But like I said, I was out.
So after that, you got the attempted murder. You went. You did. How many months?
The year.
A year.
I did the year. Yeah, the first time I did 5 months, 5 days. Second time I did 10 months. Second time I did a year on the nose. I got locked up November 16, 2005. Got out November 16, 2006.
Okay.
2007, July 27th, I got arrested for special aggravated robbery, special aggravated kidnapping, first degree premeditated murder, 3 counts of felony murder.
Well, what happened there?
This is a tough one. This one hard to talk. This one kind of hard to talk about. A lot of my
I missed that.
a lot
I
of the
missed
stories,
that.
you know, I was a kid. This one right here kind of simple. He was like, you don't know where they live. You don't know what time. You don't know what his safe would be. You don't have no connection with the friend. How would you even know any of this information? He said, and we know they know because they were stealing the guns and selling them. He told me the whole case.
Oh, okay, so that's really what linked them because of the guns.
Right.
So they just threw that out. Nothing. What are they gonna say? we've already sold this many guns. You got us on. Oh yeah, and the safe. Oh no, we did this, but not that.
Mm-hmm. And so we went back and forth, and he was like, you can go. That was the first time. Second time, we went, it was a little pressure. So he was like, they insisting that they called you that day and some text messages that day and this and that. I was like, man, ain't nobody, I don't know nothing about none of that. I'm thinking he's trying to scare me. Because I only text him that morning. That was the only time we ever text. Other than that, there wasn't no phone connection to me. So when I left, I was kind of wary. But I didn't even tell the other people that were with me that I had been going down there to talk to the police. Because if I had to, I ain't gonna lie, I was gonna throw everybody under the bus. That's funny, but that's not true. I was holding all the cards. If I got the butt, the third time I went, he called me. He was like, I need you to come down here again. So I went down there and he told me, he was like, we're about to get the message. He was like, is there anything you want to tell me? I said, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I said, all I know is I was sitting in in-school suspension. I said, the guy named, I said, he came up to me and told me that they was finna get this safe, they was gonna give me $20,000 a piece. All I know is that all this stuff that broke out, my name was in it. I saw it in the newspaper, and I still ain't got my money. That's all I know. That's all I know, man. He was like, and I believe you. And I said, what do I said, well, I'm good to go? He was like, yeah. That's it.
He's already got his guys. They're already rolling over on each other left and right.
And I walked out, and he called me one last time. I was in my mama's house. He called me. He was like, Joe, he was like, I know you done been down here a few times without. I was like, you do know I'm 17, right? He was like, yeah. I was like, I've been down there 3 times without my mama. I said, I done told my mama. I said, my mama said next time I come down there, she gonna file a lawsuit. Never heard from him again. It was over. It was over with. It was done. It was done. But like I said, I was out.
So after that, you got the attempted murder.
Mm-hmm.
You went. You did. How many months?
The year.
A year.
I did the year. Yeah, the first time I did 5 months, 5 days. The second time I did 10 months. Second time I did a year on the nose. I got locked up November 16, 2005. Got out November 16, 2006.
Okay.
2007, July 27th, I got arrested for special aggravated robbery, special aggravated kidnapping, first degree premeditated murder, and 3 counts of felony murder.
Ooh. What happened there?
And they always want to go and let them out because they're gonna do better.
This one
But this is the kind of stuff they do.
Kind of hard to talk about.
You know,
a lot of my a lot of them stories. You know, I was a kid. This one right here kind of sensitive.
Well, I guess you were adult. You knew better. By this point.
Nah, somebody lost their life, man, and
Right.
somebody lost their life, and at the time, I understand. But at the time, that's just how we were living.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to be real, it took me probably 2.5 years to even realize what had really happened. But this situation, man, I was living in Clarksville at the time. I was really good. I ended up getting a call from one of my friends.
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Clarksville, Tennessee.
Okay.
It's about 45 minutes from Springfield. And when my friends called,
Sorry. How old were you?
18. This is after. Yeah, I'm 18.
After you got out of prison.
Yeah. Now this jail. This is before I go to prison.
Okay.
Jail. So yeah, I'm 18, 19. Yeah, I'm 18 going on 19, I believe. And so he called me. He gets into it with this guy at the car wash. We call it the car wash. And they get into it about a girl, I think. He's trying to pew somebody, and the bullet hit the ground, ricocheted, and hit a girl in the neck. She lived. So he's on the run for attempted murder. He called me asking me, boy, like, can he come and stay with me while I'm in Clarksville? Because it ain't it ain't where we're from. So I'm like, yeah, you can come. So he come, a few days go by. He can't hustle, he can't get no money. He think about lawyer, he think about bond, think about what he gonna do as far as if he get locked up. So he was like, man, would you go down there and hit a lick with me? Basically, would I go down there? That's what I did, other than selling work here and there, I robbed. So I was like, yeah, I'm with it. I'm cool. Yeah, we can go down there and do that. He was like, who? I was like, I don't know. I was like, let me call. So I called my cousin, who's locked up now. Matter of fact, all the guys I got in trouble with, all of them locked up right now. I called my cousin, I asked him, he was like, he say the guy's name, he was like, he's sitting under the tree. When you're under the tree, basically in the project, that's basically where everybody hustling. I'm like, cool, that's what we'll do. And he was like, bet. I was like, just keep an eye, and we're gonna come down there. So, as we driving down, gun in the car, I'm driving, he in the passenger seat, I ain't got no license. Police get behind us in this little city called Coopertown. We call them Cooper Troopers because it's hard to go through there and not get pulled over. The police hit the lights. They behind us. I'm thinking we finna get pulled over. I asked my homie, I'm like, do you want me to smash, run it? He was like, nah. He was like, just pull over. He was like, if they get me, he was like, I'm gonna just go and go to jail. I'm thinking, cool. So I pull over. The police go around us and keep going. And I'm like, dang. So we drive.
So what
to
you do
town.
with this thing?
When we get there, picked up my cousin. He showed me where the guy was at. We picked up another guy.
That's a weeder.
We ended up
You
switching
bought that for
cars
us?
Don't you
at
got
one
to?
point.
No, don't you
Switching
got? Ain't
cars
that a
again.
weed you doing?
Yeah.
And we ended
How
up
you
coming
use
with-
it?
coming
You
up
just
with
go?
this plan that
Press this.
we was going where he at.
Lower the weight?
Where
No,
he's
go
at,
wide.
His car's on this side.
Wide?
Come off of it and
So
go
we said,
wild.
we gonna drop our
Hit
one.
wild.
This guy gonna
Hit-
drive his
hit that
car.
again.
We gonna
Forward, lower. Okay, there it is.
go to his house. 'cause we
No,
don't
you want to lower
know.
it. Hit that button
He
again.
probably ain't got a lot of. We think.
And then now
There
you
we
want to
go.
go
Right.
over it.
So we do that. We end up getting out of the car, kidnapping, drive to his house.
What
We
happened?
get to his house. Bravest guy I
Sorry.
think I'll ever. I'm like, do you want me to smash, run it? He was like, nah. He was like, just pull over. He was like, if they get me, he was like, I'm gonna just go and go to jail. I'm thinking, cool. So I pulled over. The police go around us and keep going. And I'm like, dang. So we drive to town. When we get there, picked up my cousin. He showed me where the guy was at. We picked up another guy. We ended up switching cars at one point, switching cars again. And we ended up coming up with this plan that we was going where he's at, his car's on this side. But we saying we're gonna drop our one. This guy gonna drive this car, and we gonna grab him, and we gonna go to his house because we don't know. He probably ain't got a lot of. We thinking we want everything.
Right.
So we do that. We end up getting out of the car, kidnapping, drive to his house. We get to his house. Bravest guy I think I'll ever see in my life.
The guy you grabbed?
Yes. When we standing there, he told us, he said, I'm not taking y'all in my house. He said, my kids is in there. He looked at the guy, well, the other guy, they grabbed him. He was like, I'm not taking y'all in there. My kids is in there. At the time, I don't know. I do believe he believed that, but at the time, I think he also realized we didn't know which one he lived in, too. He was aware. We had the keys, but we didn't know which one.
Right.
So when he said that, he turned to walk off. And when he turned to walk off, my homeboy grabbed him on the shoulder, turned around, and he shot. He didn't know where he shot. He tried to shoot him in his leg. He ended up shooting him in his torso. So when he shot him in the torso, he get down on the ground. Everybody takes our run, and we get in the car, we pull out. We don't know what happened till the next morning. And I heard my homeboy walking through the hallway, and he said, I didn't kill nobody. So when he said that, I rose up. He in the bathroom. I go downstairs. My little cousin is down there. I said, what's going on? He said, he didn't make it. I said, y'all gotta leave. I end up driving them back home. I don't drive the guy who pulled the trigger all the way home. I drive him halfway. He had somebody come pick him up. He wanted to turn himself in for the attempted.
Right.
As we driving back home, the police called my phone. The same detective that always called me. We had a love-hate relationship. He told me, I don't care, I'm gonna get back to that. I answered the phone and he was like, I need you to come down here and talk to me. I said, about what? He said, I think you know what it's about. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, am I under arrest for something? He was like, no, not yet. I said, ain't nothing to talk about. I get out the phone. When I hang up the phone, go ahead.
How are they connecting you to this?
I don't know
Right.
how they did it that fast.
Maybe somebody saw you guys grab.
Somebody saw the car.
Okay.
I to this day I don't have a clue how our names. I take that back. The girl that got hit, the guy that he was into it with, I think rumors were already connecting his name to things, and maybe his name came up and that happened that night, and I don't know. But this guy just recently told me, I never knew this until maybe 2 months ago. He thought that he was supposed to be the one that we were coming to get, because I'm related to the guy he was trying to shoot the night when the girl, and he thought we were coming to get. So I don't know if it inspired from, oh, they were supposed to come and get me, but it ended up being, I don't know. But, so when I hang up with the detective, he called, my cousin's phone while he in the car with me. And I'm looking over at him and I'm trying to read his body language to kind of see where he at with everything. And he get out the phone. I was like, what'd he say? He was like, he want me to come down there and talk to him. I said, you can't do that. To go to Clarksville, you have to pass my mama's house. So we had stopped that night after it happened and put the guns in a car that my mama wasn't using no more. I didn't know she had already found the guns and got rid of them. So by the time the police had called both of us, my mama started calling me, asking me what was going on. And I was like, ain't nothing going on. Like, I talked to her, quit calling me on this phone. And she just kept calling. I was like, I'll talk to you when I get there. I'm not knowing, because we double Ken got in the car with me. I'm not knowing my mama done went to his mama's house. So when I drop him off, his mama takes him to the police department. I'm at my mama's house in the backyard on the swing she had. So an hour go by, I called. I'm like, what's going on? And she was like, he's still back there being interrogated. I said, tell his mama to go back here and get him. Quit talking. She was like, why? If y'all had nothing to do with it, then it ain't cool. I said, he been back there too long. She hang up. She like, quit, don't call me back. She hang up. 2 hours later, I call again. What's going on? She said, he's still back there. I said, go get him. Go back there and get him. She was like, no, I'm not. If y'all done had nothing to do, why you so worried? I said, you need to go back there and stop it. Tell her to go back there. She hang up. 3 hours later, he's still back there. 3.5. They finally called. We're on our way home. I said, all right, because she asked me to come down. I don't have nothing to say to her. They pulled up to the house. I got a gun on me.
So he did come out.
He did come out.
Okay.
He did get
That's a
arrested.
sign.
Yeah, sure was. so we thought. But he come out. They come to the house. My mama had a red Contour at the time. They pull in. I'm sitting in the swing, so they pull in front of me. My mama's on the passenger. His mama driving. He gets out of. His mama on the passenger. My mama driving. He gets out behind the passenger door, so he right in front of me when he opened the door. And when he opened the door, I said, "What you tell him?" And he was like, "I ain't tell him nothing." I said, "Let's walk to the store." His mama said, "All y'all going to jail?" I said, "I ain't going nowhere." I said, "Let's walk to the store." And she was like, "He ain't going nowhere with you." I said, "He ain't got no choice." And my mom said, "Boo, I said, nah, I just want to go to the store and talk." So we walked across the street to the store, and I'm conflicted, just like you just said. That's a good sign.
Right.
I'm thinking, he in here 3.5 hours on a murder, kidnapping, and robbery. If you said anything that incriminated you, if you said anything you was there, ain't no way you standing in front of me. Ain't no way. So I asked him, I said, what did you tell him? What was you down there doing for 3.5 hours? He said, his first response was, I didn't tell him nothing about you. And I believe it because police ain't came and got me yet.
Right.
And I was like, well, what did you tell him? He said, I blamed it all on the shooter.
Right.
And I said, so you said you was there? He was like, they said they ain't worried about me. They said they want the gun man. I said, so you told them? He said, cuz I didn't tell them nothing about you.
The shooter's going to.
And I said, I was like, ain't no way you. He said, I'm telling you. He said, you need to go down there and do the same thing. He said, all they were saying was they wanted to shoot. He said, they even called the DA. I said, why you was in it? He said, they just want the shooter. I was like, all right. This was July 24th when it happened. July 27th. Hold on. June 24th when it happened. July 27th is when they came to get me. I'm thinking,
You never went down.
no,
Okay.
never got arrested, never went and talked, nothing. And the guy that I'm telling you about, they went down there and talked first, started going with my ex-girlfriend. So I'm driving down the street one day,
Well, he's got a death wish, doesn't he? I mean, it's like he's just one bad decision after another.
Listen, it worked.
You don't seem to take kindly to people dating your ex.
Oh, man, listen, he was just doing so much. It was so weird because I'm like, that was June 24th. It's a month and a half almost. Like, they ain't called me. So I'm trying to talk. He ain't answering. This girl, my ex, telling him not to talk to me and all this. And I'm like, I'm so confused. So I went and hired a lawyer out of Hendersonville named Bo Taylor. And Bo Taylor was the lawyer to the 4 white guys on the $125,000 case.
Okay.
I go in there and hire him, not knowing that at the time.
That's a conflict of interest, isn't it?
Well, I pay him in $100 bills.
Okay. from the safe.
Listen, not from the state, but I paid him in $100 bills.
Can you imagine the irony, honey?
He took offense to it and went and told them that I was trying to run. I told him to file a motion for me to go to job court. But he goes and tells the DA all kinds of craziness and basically was going to help them get to me. So the day he done filed these motions and told them that he done filed these motions for me to go to job court. He called me
Put another load
to
of
see,
corn
I
in.
guess to see if I'm at my mama's house, telling
Put
me
another
I'm
load
gonna
of
come and
corn
get
in.
you. So we can go to court. I'm like, cool, you pull up, come get me. Like me, I'm Bo cool. Like everybody, Bo defend, he lawyers for dope boys, like Bo name ring. Like,
Where you putting that? That's ours?
Cool, Bo, we can do that. So by that time, then the police called
I don't sell
my
them.
mama's house phone.
You
I'm
selling
sitting
our corn?
She
I
come
sold
knock on the
another
door,
load
come
of
to the
corn.
phone and say,
What you want to do with
police
corn?
on the phone. So when she say that, my
What you
friend
trying to do
is
with corn?
They here. They trying to.
I don't
make
see
sure I'm
any
in the house.
businesses
They
we
would
can
call
make
my
with
phone.
it. I don't see any end product.
So I grab the phone at the same time. I look out of the blinds, and I see an unmarked car. No patrol cars. I said, "Oh, they gonna try to do it to me. If I try to run, they gonna try to hit me this time." So I go out the back door to see if it's so weird because I'm like, that was June 24th. It's a month and a half almost. Like they ain't called me. They ain't. So I'm trying to talk. He ain't answering. This girl, my ex, telling him not to talk to me and all this. And I'm like, I'm so confused. So I went and hired a lawyer out of Hendersonville named Bo Taylor. And Bo Taylor was the lawyer to the 4 white guys on the $125,000 case.
Okay.
I go in there and hire him, not knowing that at the time.
That's a conflict of interest, isn't it?
Well, I pay him in $100 bills.
Okay. from the safe.
Listen, not from the safe, but I paid him in $100 bills. Comes out later, he took offense to it and went and told them that I was trying to run. I told him to file a motion for me to go to job court. But he goes and tells the DA all kinds of craziness and basically was going to help them get to me. So the day he done filed these motions and told them that he done filed these motions for me to go to job court. He calls me to see if I'm at my mama's house, telling me I'm gonna come and get you. So we can go to court. I'm like, cool, you pull up, come get me. Like me, I'm Bo cool. Like everybody, Bo defend, he lawyers for dope boys, like Bo name ring. Like you wanna pull up, come get me? It's cool, Bo, we can do that. So by that time, then the police called my mama's house phone. I'm sitting in the room. She come and knock on the door, cover the phone, and say, police on the phone. So when she say that, my spiders is saying, they here. They trying to make sure I'm in the house. They would have called my phone. So I grab the phone at the same time. I look out of the blinds, and I see an unmarked car. No patrol cars. I said, oh, they gonna try to do it to me. If I try to run, they gonna try to hit me this time. So I go out the back door to see if there's any police in the back. No police in the back. So I'm like, hello? And he was like, John, I think you need to come down and talk to me. I was like, about what? He was like, you know what it's about? I was like, no, I don't. He was like, yeah, you know what it's about. I said, am I under arrest? He was like, no, not yet. And I was like, well, I'm not coming down. I hang up. So I'm debating if I'm gonna run. I called my other homeboy that drove the car, the other car. I called him. I said, had the police been in your house? He was like, no, why? I said, the police is at my house. And he got quiet. It was awkward. I said, what's up, bro? He said, you need to go down there and talk to him. I said, for what? He paused again. He said, they just left my house. He said, I told him everything.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on one second. This still isn't the shooter.
No.
Where's the shooter?
He's in jail on the attempted murder. He turned himself in.
Oh, he turned himself in. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. You said that. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
he
That's my
turned
fault.
himself in. Yeah, he turned himself in. He
Like
don't
he's turned himself in on
the
the
attempted murder.
on the
Not
attempt.
he ain't been charged yet. He don't know what's going on.
All this is happening. He hasn't been even
He don't-
spoken.
yep,
They're
he
trying to
don't-
build a whole case.
Yep, he don't got a clue. And so when he was like, they just left my house. He said, I just told him everything. He said, they just want you to tell him. He said the same thing. They just want to shoot him. I said, why you didn't call and tell me?
He tried to tell you the first time to go down. He's been trying to.
This was the second dude.
Oh, this is
Not
the
the cousin.
driver.
This is the driver to the other car. It's four of us.
Bro, this is complicated.
The shooter locked up.
Yeah.
My cousin, the one that was driving, that was at the house when he said, I ain't killed nobody. He was downstairs. Then the other guy who was on the other street that drove the car and followed us.
Okay.
It's four of us.
Wait, what they growing?
Yeah, my bad.
Is it that?
Would
I
they
mean,
go-
it's a little
Do
complicated.
not buy
I ain't
it.
saying names. That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
That's why. Because I'm
Not
saying
by
homeboy
what?
is
Five.
identifying everybody.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay.
Because they got
Well, I'm
sugar
lost.
beets.
I'm-
No, you good. You ain't slowed out. But so when he
Now
said
we
it,
could
I hang up the phone and I walk in the house and I'm
buy
like,
the
bro,
sugar,
I'm running.
buy the equipment to
By the
harvest
time
it.
I'm in my room.
Take it
and
to
I'm
the
thinking,
sugar
and I
plant,
hear
I
doom,
guess?
doom,
No, we
doom.
could put
I
it right
live
there
the
in
house.
that preserve
And they
thing. You
knocking on
guys
the door.
preserve sugar beets.
So I
Preserved
opened the
sugar
door.
beets?
Yeah,
Saw
and the
rifles
thing
there.
that we
My
got.
friends get it,
Okay.
They grabbed
You
it.
got preserved
My
sugar
mom
If you
said,
go
right
down
there,
to
I
it,
looked up at the barrel of the rifle.
You see the red?
And he was like,
Well,
"You
I don't know
already
if
seen
red
that
beets or
charge.
sugar
They
beets
say
are the
they
same
No,
right.
they're
thing.
not.
That first degree premeditated
Sugar
murder,
beets, you
two
make
counts
sugar
of
out of.
murder. And I said, you ain't got nothing?
Okay.
He said, you about to find out. They pick me up. They call a patrol car then. They take me down to the police department. I get down there. I'm down here 3 hours. When I first get there, I ain't doing no talking at all. I don't want to talk to nobody. Only reason I'm at home is because I have a lawyer. I'm supposed to be at court. So I'm telling them off the top, call Bo. By the third time I say this, they tell me we already talked to Bo. We probably, when I think we probably about 30, 40 minutes in, they tell me they already talked to my lawyer. I'm like, they're like, yeah, we talked about you want to call him? I'm like, yeah, call him. They
Sugar
call my
milk.
lawyer right there in the interrogation room on speaker. No audio running, no visual running, nothing. They called Bo. Bo said, Joe, everything gonna be all right. They just want the shooter. Go ahead and talk. I'll be down there in a second. I hang up. My lawyer said this. I looked and I was like, that was weird. They're my lawyer telling me this. So I started giving them all kind of crazy stories, never implicating myself. And at that point, they were like, nah. Every time they typing as I'm talking, never incriminating me. Everything I'm saying is around. And every time they would, nope, that ain't it. They would throw it away, boom, ain't nothing. Nope, that ain't it. Until I said I had the AK-47, they was like, oh, this the one. You can sign it. Boom, I signed it. I go to the county. When I get to the county, they put me in the same unit where he at for the attempted murder. Then I found out he had been charged that morning while they was coming to charge me. They charged him too. They put me in a cell with this guy. I can't remember his name. But as soon as I go in, I tell him, he introduces himself, and I tell him my name. I'm like, I'm Boo. And his eyes got big. He was like, Boo Baker? And I'm like, yeah. He was like, man. And he started saying my case. He started saying facts about the situation. I took my hand and covered up the mic. I said, who told you that? Because at this point, you could easily say I told you this. Because
Right.
what he was saying was true.
Right.
And I was like, who told you this? He was like, your child partner down there doing story time every night. I was, what? He was like, yeah, he be down there telling us. I said, oh, no. I said, you came in to sell me. Like, can't nobody be in to sell me to know any kind of information like that to tell the DA that I told him, man. That ain't gonna happen. I said, so when we go out for Rick, I said, I'm not coming back in the cell. And just they call Rick. I go down there and talk to this dude, man, and I'm like, man, what is you doing? He was like, man, we're gonna be all right, we cool. And the look in his eye just made me feel like he was cool with me being there. I said, man, you act like you happy I'm here. And his response was, after all you done got away, boo, you should have been down here. That's what he told me. I said, I'm finna play crazy. He was like, that ain't gonna work. I said, well, we better find out. And when they told us to go back in the cell, I started playing crazy. I said, I ain't going back in the cell. So they ended up taking me to the observation cell where this happened. Oh,
You were in the observation cell?
not when this happened. This is how I ended up getting to the observation cell.
Okay.
They moved me from W to B. And then when they moved me to B, I tricked them into bringing me a razor, and then this happened.
Okay.
After after this happened,
This isn't a real tent. This is
no. After this happened, they take me to the observation cell, which is where intake is at, which is where I
Grass
call the
rollers
escape
and
case.
weeders improve the yield of your grass
Okay.
fields.
As I'm in intake, I can see
17
the
grand
control
for
button because it's clear, it's open. I can hear. It's 2 doors you got to go through. They're just push doors, and then you got the door that they got to hit the button for. You go in, it's supposed to close, security, Then the other door opens so you can go out
to Sallyport.
Sallyport. So I'm peeping. All of this is what's going on, and of course they done called mobile crisis, so they got me taking medication, all this old stuff. So I'm trying to figure out how to pull this off, and just so happened I'm flooding my cell a lot. I'm acting a fool while I'm kicking the door. And there was a lady, I can say her name, we got Miss Huberry. Miss Huberry used to let me out
No,
of the
you
cell
don't need
basically
that
to keep
one.
me
You
calm.
need the other one.
So she let me out of the cell, and I'm cleaning one day, and as I'm cleaning, a guy comes in, and she was
You
like,
don't need that
"You
one.
gotta go back in the cell. Let me get him processed in. I'm gonna let you back out." But when she closed the door, she didn't like it.
Or maybe
She
you
just pushed
wanna
it up.
go
She
with
like,
the,
"Let you back out,"
other
and she
one.
walked out.
This?
And my
You
thought
can probably
was,
go with that one.
cut the lights off, lay down, act like you sleep. So I did just that. Boom, cut the lights off. I lay down. I'm chilling. After that, after she got him processed in, and I'm laying there, the med call happened. So the med card coming around, I hear it, but I ain't thinking. Cause I'm thinking, she comes around, she goes, and the door's unlocked, and she goes off immediately. Who left Baker's door unlocked? Everybody knows he's a flight risk. He's a high.
All right, y'all. I appreciate you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we're going to catch y'all on the next one. Nelly Keys out. Y'all take care.